Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Lucy distracts Sharon while Phyllis snoops. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, and Lucy Romalotti, Lily Brooks O'Brien, will figure out that Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, had something to do with framing Daniel Romalotti, Michael Graziati, for Heather Stevens' Vale Bloom murder. Will Lucy distract Sharon while Phyllis searches for evidence? The Young and the Restless spoilers is fed up with Sharon targeting Daniel and his family. Phyllis knew that Sharon had been going after Daniel and his family since Lucy's accident with Faith Newman, real Lancaster. Phyllis believes that Sharon is behind what happened to Heather, but she needs to prove of this. Suppose Lucy goes to Sharon's to help her mother. Lucy may feel like she needs to distract Sharon while her mother tries to find what she needs. Has Sharon left behind anything that will connect her to Heather's death? Could Phyllis manage to get a DNA sample from Sharon's car and find that it matches Heather's DNA? If Phyllis happens to find some information that could get Sharon put away and free Daniel, she could send Chance to investigate. Phyllis doesn't want to tamper with the evidence, but she could make sure he finds what he needs. After all, Phyllis wants her son released and back with his daughter. Daniel doesn't deserve this. However, it seems that Phyllis may be Daniel's only hope to get justice. Phyllis and Lucy shouldn't have to be doing the work of the police force. Unfortunately, Chance is too focused on Daniel to realize what Sharon is up to. Chance also cannot imagine Sharon doing something like this. Chance will certainly be shocked when this happens. If Sharon figures out what Lucy is up to, she could use her as a human shield to get Phyllis to back off. However, if Phyllis has already contacted Chance, there might even be a bigger issue. Sharon could hold Lucy hostage or even get into a high-speed chase with the law trying to get away. Can the police get to Sharon in time to save Lucy? Will Lucy be the one who helps to bring Sharon to justice? Will Heather finally get the justice she deserves? Sharon has done so much damage to this family already that they just cannot handle anymore. Will this be the beginning of Daniel and Lucy's healing now that Sharon has finally been caught? Will Sharon finally get the help she so desperately needs? In the heart of Genoa City, Sharon Newman was always on guard. Running Crimson Lights had taught her that there were few things more dangerous than letting her guard down, especially when it came to people like Phyllis Summers. The rivalry between them had gone beyond personal. It was woven into the very fabric of their lives, where secrets were power, and Sharon had too many to count. Today, however, Sharon was in for a rude awakening. One orchestrated by a new player she had never expected, Lucy Romalotti. It started innocently enough. Sharon was tending to the coffee shop's afternoon rush, expertly handling lattes and pastries when Lucy strolled in. The teenager had a mischievous gleam in her eye, but Sharon didn't notice it at first. Lucy was Daniel Romalotti's daughter, and despite the tensions between their families, Sharon had always thought Lucy seemed sweet, if a little too much like her grandmother, Phyllis. "Hey, Sharon." Lucy's voice was bright, casual, as she approached the counter. "Can I get an iced coffee? Extra caramel, please." Sharon smiled, glad to see a familiar face. "Sure thing, Lucy. How's everything going?" Lucy leaned on the counter, her eyes wide with enthusiasm. "Good. Actually, I was hoping to talk to you about something. It's kind of a big deal, and I thought you'd be the perfect person to ask for advice." Sharon's curiosity was piqued. She hadn't expected this, but she always had a soft spot for giving advice, especially to the younger generation. "Of course, Lucy. I'd be happy to help. What's on your mind?" As Sharon began making the iced coffee, Lucy launched into her story. She rambled about her school projects, her relationship with her dad, and even dropped a few comments about how hard it was growing up in Genoa City with a legacy like hers. Sharon listened intently, unaware that something far more sinister was happening just behind her. Phyllis Summers, the ever-scheming master manipulator, was lurking near the back of the coffee shop. She had entered a few moments after Lucy, slipping through the door in a casual yet purposeful way that drew no attention. Dressed in dark sunglasses and a chic trench coat, she was a vision of stealth, blending in with the bustling cafe. Phyllis had one goal in mind: to find out what Sharon was hiding. Lately, Sharon had been unusually secretive, and Phyllis was convinced that there was something big going on, something that could give her an edge. And if there was one thing Phyllis was good at, it was sniffing out dirt and using it to her advantage. As Sharon became engrossed in Lucy's teenage woes, Phyllis quietly made her move. She knew exactly where Sharon kept her most private files, right in the back office behind the cafe. It wasn't just invoices and receipts Phyllis was after, though. No, she had heard whispers that Sharon was involved in something far more delicate, something that could potentially tie her to dangerous dealings in the Newman family saga. While Lucy continued to keep Sharon occupied with her fabricated drama, Phyllis crept down the narrow hallway that led to Sharon's office. The door was ajar, almost inviting her in. Phyllis's heart raced, her pulse quickening with the thrill of the heist. She was no stranger to playing dirty, and in this town, snooping wasn't just a pastime, it was a survival tactic. Inside Sharon's office, the walls were lined with neat stacks of papers and binders. The desk was immaculate, not a thing out of place. Phyllis rolled her eyes at Sharon's need for order, but she wasn't here to critique Sharon's organizational skills. She was here for information. Her fingers itched as she began rifling through drawers, glancing over bank statements, notes, and legal documents. Nothing stood out immediately, but Phyllis wasn't deterred. She knew that the juiciest secrets were always well hidden. It was only a matter of time before she struck gold. Meanwhile, out in the cafe, Lucy was playing her part flawlessly. She kept Sharon's attention with a stream of never-ending questions, all designed to keep the coffee shop owner from noticing what was really happening. Sharon nodded, offered advice, and poured more caramel into Lucy's drink as requested. The teenager was smooth, just like her grandmother, able to weave a web of distraction with ease. "So Sharon," Lucy said, her eyes wide with fake innocence, "do you ever regret all the drama that's gone down between you and Phyllis? Like, do you ever think it's just time to let bygones be bygones?" Sharon's smile tightened, but she maintained her composure. "Well, Lucy, some things are easier said than done. Phyllis and I have a complicated history, but I believe in moving forward. Sometimes that means leaving the past behind, but other times, you have to face it head-on." Lucy nodded, appearing deep in thought. "Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It just seems like such a heavy burden to carry, you know." Sharon sighed, the weight of her complicated past flashing across her face for a moment. "It is sometimes, but it's part of life. We all make choices we have to live with." While Sharon was lost in reflection, Phyllis hit the jackpot. She found a folder labeled Newman Properties tucked at the bottom of a drawer, hidden beneath a stack of old receipts. Her eyes gleamed as she pulled it out, flipping through the pages. There were notes, legal papers, and what appeared to be a list of real estate holdings that Sharon had been discreetly managing. Phyllis's gut told her this was more than just property management. There was something big brewing here. Something that could involve Victor Newman, and maybe even Nick. Phyllis smirked. This was exactly the kind of leverage she needed. With this information, she could push Sharon's buttons, and if played right, use it to her advantage in her ongoing battles with the Newman family. Phyllis slipped the folder into her bag and quickly reassembled the desk, leaving no trace of her intrusion. Back in the cafe, Lucy noticed the subtle signal from Phyllis, an almost imperceptible nod as she exited the back office. The teenager knew her job was done. She stood up from the counter, clutching her drink, and flashed Sharon a sweet smile. "Thanks so much for the advice, Sharon," Lucy said cheerily. "I've got to run, but this really helped a lot." Sharon smiled warmly, none the wiser. "Anytime, Lucy. Take care." As Lucy left the cafe, Sharon felt a small sense of satisfaction at having helped the young girl. But that feeling would be short-lived. Little did she know, her world was about to be turned upside down once again, and Phyllis was at the center of it, as always. Phyllis and Lucy had pulled off the perfect distraction, and now Sharon would be left to deal with the fallout. And in Geno City, secrets never stayed buried for long.